You may say, however, since you excel all men in understanding, how comes it to pass, then, that some of the idols manifest power, if those to whom we erect the statues are not gods? For it is not likely that images destitute of life and motion can of themselves do anything without a mover. That in various places, cities, and nations, certain effects are brought about in the name of idols, we are far from denying. None the more, however, if some have received benefit, and others, on the contrary, suffered harm, shall we deem those to be gods who have produced the effects in either case. But I have made careful inquiry, both why it is that you think the idols to have this power, and who they are that, usurping their names, produce the effects. It is necessary for me, however, in attempting to show who they are that produce the effects ascribed to the idols, and that they are not gods, to have recourse to some witnesses from among the philosophers. First, Thales, as those who have accurately examined his opinions report, divides superior beings into God, demons, and heroes. God he recognizes as the intelligence of the world. By demons he understands beings possessed of soul, and by heroes the separated souls of men, the good being the good souls, and the bad the worthless. Plato again, while withholding his assent on other points, also divides superior beings into the uncreated God, and those produced by the uncreated one for the adornment of heaven, the planets, and the fixed stars, and into demons. Concerning which demons, while he does not think fit to speak himself, he thinks that those ought to be listened to who have spoken about them. To speak concerning the other demons, and to know their origin, is beyond our powers. But we ought to believe those who have before spoken, the descendants of gods, as they say, and surely they must be well acquainted with their own ancestors. It is impossible, therefore, to disbelieve the sons of gods, even though they speak without probable or convincing proofs. But as they profess to tell of their own family affairs, we are bound, in pursuance of custom, to believe them. In this way, then, let us hold and speak as they do concerning the origin of the gods themselves. Of Ge and Uranos were born Oceanus and Tethys, and of these Phorcus, Cronos, and Rhea, and the rest. And of Cronos and Rhea, Zeus, Hera, and all the others, who we know are all called their brothers, besides other descendants again of these. Did then he who had contemplated the eternal intelligence and God, who is apprehended by reason, and declared his attributes, his real existence, the simplicity of his nature, the good that flows forth from him that is truth, and discoursed of primal power, and how all things are about the King of all, and all things exist for his sake, and he is the cause of all. And about 2 and 3 that he is the second moving about the seconds, and the third about the thirds. Did this man think that to learn the truth concerning those who are said to have been produced from sensible things, namely earth and heaven, was a task transcending his powers? It is not to be believed for a moment. But because he thought it impossible to believe that gods beget and are brought forth, since everything that begins to be is followed by an end, and for this is much more difficult, to change the views of the multitude who receive the fables without examination. On this account it was that he declared it to be beyond his powers to know and to speak concerning the origin of the other demons, since he was unable either to admit or teach that gods were begotten. And as regards that saying of his, the great sovereign in heaven, Zeus, driving a winged car, advances first, ordering and managing all things, and there follow him a host of gods and demons. This does not refer to the Zeus who is said to have sprung from Cronos, for here the name is given to the maker of the universe. This is shown by Plato himself, Not being able to designate him by another title that should be suitable, he availed himself of the popular name, not as peculiar to God, but for distinctness, because it is not possible to discourse of God to all men as fully as one might. And he adds at the same time the epithet great, so as to distinguish the heavenly from the earthly, the uncreated from the created, who is younger than heaven and earth, and younger than the Cretans, who stole him away, that he might not be killed by his father.